What's up, YouTube? What's up, Foundation? This is me, your big partner, Cartoon One, the Village Storyteller. I welcome all my new people over here to my new channel. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, this is a channel for strictly fiction, fictitious stories that are just made up. They're not true. The names, the places, the incidents, not true. It's for, it's just story time. It's like reading an audio book. You're just checking out, getting you a good 25, 30 minutes or something in. That's going to just take you through your work break, or something you can listen to while you're at work, or something you can listen to going to or from work. As time goes on, y'all let me know how it is, and let me know what you think about it. But always remember, please don't jump in the comments with "Tune, you made that up. That's not true." Of course, I'm telling you now, before we even go down that road, that this is my story station, my village stories. Just what I'm saying, just like reading a short story book, just giving something out there. That's so the people are like, dang, man, whoa, it caught their attention. Like reading a good book. That's it, y'all. Anyway, first story on the Village Story channel. On the Village Storyteller channel. This is a story, man, about a young man who felt the icy hands of the Grim Reaper reaching for him all throughout the day. All throughout the day. Now, some people say that they don't believe in that. Some people say that, nah, it's not true. People just making up stories. But now, some people say they can feel when death is knocking at their front door. Some people can feel when that icy hand has touched them. And I'm one of those people because I felt it. To get right into the story then, this story about a little homie named Turk. Turk was a little crip. Turk was only 22 years old. He was a rider for a set. Turk would be one of the main ones at the meeting who would speak up about what he felt was right and wrong in the set. Even though it was plenty of homies there that was older than him that was speaking up on certain things, Turk would speak up. Turk was a shooter. Turk was a fighter. Turk was a thinker. And that was one of the most dangerous things about Turk. Turk was a thinker. He was able to take his thoughts and put them into action. He had the heart to put them into action. Those who rode with him. Those who wouldn't. But everybody in the set knew Turk's worth. Everybody in the set knew that little young homie right there was a real go-getter. Even Turk's enemies knew this. Turk had spent his days not playing with it. He had invested himself to that life, and that was the life that he led. And he was going to lead it to the best and fullest of his ability. And that's what Turk was doing. Enemies in every direction that they were knew of Turk's work. They knew if you got into it with Turk from the east side, that Turk was coming. If you got into it with them east side boys, Turk was coming because you was into it with his set. On this day that we speaking on, Turk had an ill feeling when he was getting out to bed that morning. He didn't know what it was. He didn't know if it was butterflies. He didn't know if he had a headache, a hangover. Turk just didn't know what it was, but he knew that something wasn't right. He knew that this day was just not going to go right because he felt it in his spirit. He felt it in his soul. Turk had ironed his clothes and got them all ready the night before so that when he got up that next day, he showered, bathed, got himself together, and put his paraphernalia on that he ran the streets in, and he left the house. He didn't worry about getting nothing to eat because he was gonna eat in the hood. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty taco stands and hamburger stands and places like that. Turk loved street food. He didn't too much like food at the house. He liked to get his food in the streets. Turk got to the hood and he kicked it, and he was kicking with the homies. All his homeboys would love to see him show up because all of them knew when Turk was here, it was all good. They knew he was heated. They knew he was strapped, and they know he wasn't finna do no backpedaling. He was gonna protect this area with everything he had in him, and that motivated them to strive to become like Turk. That motivated them, even some of the older cats. That motivated them to want to be down how they were supposed to be because they didn't want to let their little young homeboy Turk outdo him. Turk wasn't on no trying to outdo him. Turk had an old spirit. Turk was about doing what he knew and felt should be done in this lifestyle that he chose to lead, and that was him. Turk had a baby mama. He had 2 kids by her, 1 4 and 1 1. He had a 4-year-old by her, and he had a 1-year-old by her. Well, 1.5, almost 2. His baby mama name was Deborah. Turk, other than the East Side boys, Turk's love was his baby mama and his kids. She, Denise, she understood the lifestyle that Turk led. She understood what she signed up for. She knew that Turk was not going to be the conventional father. She knew that Turk sometimes might be absent for a while due to prison. But what she did every day, she stayed loyal, she stayed in her place, she stayed in her lane, she stayed down. And she prayed for Turk every day. Every day that she knew Turk was out there in them streets, she prayed for him. Because she knew it wasn't nothing that she could really tell him that was going to bring him out the streets. She knew it wasn't nothing that his mama was going to be able to tell him that could bring him out the streets. So the only thing she knew to do was just pray and hope that God kept him safe in those streets. Turk knew that his baby mama worried about him. But at the time, Turk was at the age that he couldn't really pay it a lot of attention because he's about his business. He did what he did. He handled what he handled. He wasn't kicking no cans and holding hands with nobody. Turk was about his business. Toward midday, he had got a call from his baby mama, Denise. And she was asking him when was he going to come by. And he told her, I'll be by later on tonight. Matter of fact, I'll be by toward the middle of the day. Give me till about 5 or 6 o'clock. And I'll come by. Now, during some hours, by 6 o'clock, it got dark. But no, this during what you call daylight saving time. It wouldn't get dark till about 7. So it was cool. She was over her friend's house, and she wanted Turk to come over there because her friend lived in the hood. They stayed, like, in the hood. But she wanted Turk to pop up over there. This was her way of getting Turk to come spend a little time. She told Turk that she wanted him to come walk her home, from her friend's house back to her, back to her spot. So Turk, he agreed. But he knew what his baby mom was up to. All day that day, man, Turk kicked it with the homies and homegirls. He was real quiet. Now, Turk wasn't usually a real quiet type person. Turk was a type, that he knew how to take a joke. He knew how to crack a joke. And that was just Turk. He did his thing, well respected. Everybody liked to be around him. Everybody liked to have Turk around. He was the life of the party. You know what I'm saying? And he was also the heart of the party. Young homie Turk. Anyway, but all that day he was kind of solemn and melancholy. He was kind of down. He was kind of quiet. And a few of the homegirls had even asked him, like, homie Turk, what's wrong? What's wrong? And he just, nothing wrong. It ain't nothing wrong. I'm cool. I'm straight. So they was like, Turk, you ain't acting like yourself. What's wrong? You and your baby mama going at it? And he was like, no, I'm not. No, me and her, we straight. Ain't nothing really wrong. But Turk was lying. Turk felt something in the pit of his stomach, and he didn't know what it was. It was almost to the sense like he was being followed by a presence that didn't like him. And it got to the point where a couple of times Turk even turned around and looked. But he seen nothing. Later on that day, as it got towards 6 o'clock, he ended up telling the homies, he say, look, y'all, I'm finna go over here on the back street. I gotta go pick my baby mama up, man. I'm gonna take her to the house real quick and I'm gonna come back. So they was like, okay. So Turk proceeded to walk that way. It wasn't number 2 blocks, 2 blocks down the street and bust a left. At this time, Turk had a running feud. A running feud. For those who don't mean, I mean a running feud. When those who don't know what running feud is, it means you having a problem with a person, and it just seemed like it's just you and him, and everybody else out the way, but it's just you and him, and it's getting bigger and bigger and worse and worse. And he had a running feud with a dude named Tip. Tip was a blood. Tip neighborhood was hereditary enemies with Turk set. They was right next to each other. And Turk had went to school with Tip. He knew him. Tip knew him and he knew Tip. They had fought several times. They had fought 4 different times. Nobody could really choose the victor in either fight because they were evenly matched. They hated each other. They had shot at each other several times. And Tip knew that he wanted to end Turk, and Turk knew that he wanted to end Tip. And it was just a matter of time. It was coming to a head. Tip had been on the hunt for Turk, and Turk had been on the hunt for Tip. In fact, when he was in the hood earlier today, he was already discussing with a couple of his homies something that he wanted to do tomorrow about going over there, putting in some work, trying to catch Tip. He really wanted him. He knew within himself that he had to do away with Tip. But the thing is, Tip felt the same way. And Turk was waiting for the next day to go handle his business on something. You ever heard the saying, don't put off till tomorrow what you can do today? Don't put off till tomorrow what you can do today. And you'll understand why I'm saying that. Anyway, Turk proceeded to go get his baby mama. And when he got to her friend's house, he knew her. Him and her friend had went to school together too. She stayed in the hood. She wasn't a part of anything. She just stayed in the hood though. Anyway, they kicked it there for a few minutes, 20 at the most, and he had told Denise that come on, let's hurry up and go because I want to go ahead and get you in the house because I got some other things I got to take care of. So Denise was like, okay. In the back of her mind, she had plans on getting Turk to the house and keep him in the house for the rest of the night because unbeknownst to Turk or anyone else, she had been having ill feelings all day long about Turk. And she couldn't put her finger on it. She couldn't place it. She just didn't know what it was she was feeling. So her, Denise, Turk, and his 2 daughters, they proceeded to leave. His oldest daughter, like I said, she was 4. She was walking. They didn't have far to walk. A couple of blocks down. In fact, a couple of blocks straight down the street. Denise was carrying the youngest on her hip. And they was talking. Now, of course, as they were walking down the street, Turk had Denise on the inside of him, because anybody that's in them streets know when you bail down them streets, you always put your girl on the inside. That way you could protect her. If anything harmful came, you could take the brunt of it before she did. Everybody knows that. I don't know about these youngsters nowadays. But anyway, they were walking, and Turk was quiet and she was quiet after a while. And why they got quiet, neither one of them knew. But what it was, they were both feeling something in the air. And neither one of them could explain or figure out what they were feeling. As they got to the corner, they were finna cross the street. A green Chevy pulls up with tinted windows. Music kind of playing. Turk stopped and he looked at the car. Nothing going on. He looking. He don't know what's going on. The front window and the back window let down real fast. That kicked Turk's warning bells off. Turk immediately reached for the waist of his shirt where he kept his heat. But Turk had on a long tee. And he couldn't, when he first grabbed at it, he grabbed it and the t-shirt and tried to pull it up. No, he's working off reflex now. That's when he's taking time. Now he got to go up under let it release it and go up under his t-shirt to get it. By this time, the driver of the car and the back passenger had drew down on Turk. Turk looked the back passenger in his face, and it was Tip. He knew what it was he had been feeling all day. He knew what today was. And it seemed like the way Denise looked, she at that instant realized what was wrong too. He knew with the problems that he had with Tip, he knew Tip's character, he knew what Tip was about. Tip was gonna bust. Tip had been after him. And it was always coming down to who caught who first. Turk had plans on going back, getting with his homeboys and discussing what they were going to do the following day about Tip. He was going to discuss what they were going to do the next day. The next day. The thing is, Tip had made his mind up what he was going to do that day. My cat. Yeah, Tip had made his mind up what he was going to do that day. That's what sends me back to what I was saying. Don't put off till tomorrow what you can do today. And Turk put it off till the next day. But Tip wanted it that day. So anyway, Turk knew what Tip was about. He knew Tip wasn't to play with. He knew Tip was gonna bust. He also realized that his baby mama and his two kids were right there. And out of fatherly instinct, Turk turned. And his oldest child, the 4-year-old, his oldest daughter, was on the side in front of him. He put his hand in her chest and pushed her back up against her mother's legs. And he wrapped his arm around her and Denise because the 1-year-old was between them. And he put his back to them. Turk knew what was coming. 3 shots rang out. Boom, boom, boom. Denise felt like something had pushed her back up against back like this here. Poof, poof. At the time, she didn't realize that was the impact of 2 shells hitting Turk in his back. Everything started moving in slow motion. The car sped off. Turk fell to the ground, clutching Denise in his arms. So he pulled Denise to the ground with him. The 1-year-old was crying hysterically. The 4-year-old was crying hysterically. She didn't know what was going on. Turk laid on his back with his eyes wide open, staring Denise in her face. Denise had grabbed him and asked him, baby, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Turk knew he was hit. And he told her, he said, no, I'm not okay. I'm hit. Okay. She immediately wanted to try to dial 911. And Turk told her, go get the homies. Go get the homies. Go get the homies. She was like, no, I'm calling the ambulance. I'm calling the ambulance. And Turk looked her in her eyes. He said, ambulance ain't going to save me. She like, stop talking like that, Turk. Stop talking like that. He like, no, I love you. But the ambulance ain't going to make it in time. Turk moved his hand up and grabbed his oldest daughter by her pants. And he pulled him to her. And he told her, he like, Daddy loves you. Forever. Daddy love you forever. And I'm always be with you. So she crying. She don't really know what's going on. But she just knows something's wrong. In her little mind, she's wondering, what's this big red stain that's getting bigger and bigger and bigger in back of her father on the ground? She commenced to start telling her father, Daddy, get up. Daddy, get up. Come on, let's go. Daddy, get up. And Turk didn't know what to tell her. Denise is crying hysterically. Turk reached over and grabbed Denise's hand and he held it tight. He pulled it to his mouth and he kissed it. And he told her, like, baby, we always knew it was a possibility that this could end this way. And she didn't want to hear. All she could do was cry hysterically. Cry hysterically. I believe somebody somewhere had seen the incident and they start calling around because at this time, cars start pulling up. And a lot of Turk's homeboys start jumping out the car. Homie, what's up? Homie, what's up? And people hollering, man, call the ambulance. Do this, do that, do this, do that. But Turk knew there wasn't no ambulance going to get there in time. Turk told his baby mama he loved her. He told his kids he loved them. One of his real tight homies was right there trying to cradle his head in his lap. And Turk looked at him. He said, I guess this the end of the road, homie. We the East Side boys. And he closed his eyes. Turk never opened his eyes again. At least not on that plane of existence. And that's one of the sad endings of a rider that's in the set, man. That's one of the sad endings on how things can go. Once again, these are fictitious stories. Not real. Not real at all. But I hope you enjoyed it, man. Please hit that like button. Let me know what you think. It was just a quick one off the cuff. It was just a quick one off the cuff. But if you liked it, enjoyed it, hit the like button and leave a comment. Let me know. Yeah, Tune, we rocking with it. Peace. Village Storyteller, I'm out.